If I'd driven just 30 seconds slower that night, my wife would have vanished. No trace, no witness, just tire tracks in the rain and a silver bracelet buried in the mud. I've seen chaos in war zones, men bleeding out under starlight, but nothing prepared me for seeing that chaos on my own front porch, under my own roof. I was coming home from a few weeks of reserve training down in Virginia Beach. The sky over Willow Creek had that honey-colored glow that makes you forget bad things exist. Windows down, soft breeze, the smell of wet grass rolling through the cab. It was peace. Real peace. On the passenger seat was a small velvet box with a silver bracelet inside, a gift for Anna, my wife. She liked things simple. No diamonds, no gold. Just clean, bright silver that caught the light. I kept thinking how I'd surprise her on the porch when I got back, how she'd smile, how I'd finally feel home again. But peace has a way of tricking you. It lulls you right before the world snaps. Halfway down the hill, I spotted a gray SUV tucked under a sycamore tree. No plates, blacked-out windows, parked too far from the curb. Around here, that's like seeing a rattlesnake in your garden, you notice. My gut tightened, old instincts whispering, something's off. I brushed it off. Probably a contractor, I told myself. But I should have trusted the whisper. Back home, Anna was on the porch in her denim shirt, watering her mums barefoot. She looked peaceful, humming to herself. For a moment, I just sat there watching her silhouette against the porch light. I remember thinking, this is what safe looks like. If only I'd known what she was already living through. She told me later the call came minutes before I turned onto our street. Unknown number, male voice. Mrs. Miller, this is the Willow Creek Homeowners Association Enforcement Division. We're calling regarding a code violation, Section 7, Article 4. A temporary asset hold will be initiated. Anna frowned. You must have the wrong house. We haven't changed anything in years. The man didn't flinch. Compliance is mandatory. Have your documents ready. We'll arrive shortly. She asked for a name, an ID number, anything. The line went dead. The tone wasn't angry. It was worse. Calm, like someone reading a script. When she called the HOA office to verify, it had already closed. There was no enforcement division. That realization made the porch feel colder. Then she smelled it motor oil, heard an engine idling somewhere close. When she looked up, that same SUV I'd seen earlier had crept back under the tree. No plates. Windows tinted black. She locked the door, moved to the window, waited. By the time I was a mile away, she was staring through those curtains, trying not to breathe too loud. When the knock came, it was soft, polite. Mrs. Miller, HOA Enforcement. We spoke earlier. She cracked the door, just an inch, chain still on. A tall man stood there, bald, rain glistening on his scalp, wearing a cheap vest with white letters, HOA Enforcement. Next to him, a wiry guy with restless eyes tapping a clipboard against his thigh. Anna said calmly, "You'll need to come back during office hours. I verified there's no such division." The tall one smiled, thin and fake. "Sometimes the board keeps certain matters need to know. We just need to confirm your structure variance. If you cooperate, this stays simple." Her pulse spiked. "You're not coming in without a warrant." He raised a laminated sheet. "Warrants aren't required for administrative holds, ma'am." Section 7, Article 4. The seal was printed, not embossed. Fake. Anna caught it immediately. "That's not a county seal. I'm calling my husband." His voice dropped. "No need for that. This will be over before he gets here." Then the wiry one slammed his shoulder into the door, snapping the chain. Everything happened in seconds. The tall man grabbed her wrist, twisted it behind her back. Her sandal slipped on the wet floor. Purse dumped keys, scattered coins rolling. The silver bracelet fell into the dirt by the steps. Anna yelled, "This is illegal." The tall man said calmly, "If you resist, we'll place you under temporary compliance custody." Compliance custody. What kind of nightmare phrase is that? They dragged her toward the porch, one shoe off, hair yanked tight in the bald man's fist. And right about then, that's when I turned the corner. From my truck, all I saw was movement on the porch, figures too close, too rough. At first, my brain refused to connect the dots. Then, Anna's shape shifted under the porch light, barefoot, one leg, stumbling, arm pinned. My body went cold. The sound around me muted. I'd felt that silence before. It's the one right before a breach. I didn't think I just moved. I stopped the truck so quietly it almost rolled into park on its own. The rain covered my footsteps as I stepped out, Glock pressing against my ribs under the jacket. Each step toward that porch felt like walking back into the desert, same heartbeat, same calm fury building in my chest. Step away from her now. My voice came out low even. It cut through the rain. The tall man, Vince, I'd later learn, turned his head slowly, water dripping down his face. He smiled. "Oh, look who showed up. You're a little late, hero." The words hit harder than the thunder rolling overhead. I raised the Glock, angled low. "Let her go. You've got 3 seconds." The wiry one froze, eyes flicking to my hand. The driver in the SUV shifted, cigarette ember glowing like a red eye. Vince didn't flinch. "You won't shoot," he sneered. "Not in front of her, not in front of your nice little house." He was wrong. He twitched his hand, dipping toward his belt. The knife glinted once in the porch light. That was all I needed. The Glock cracked once, flash swallowed by the rain. He screamed, clutching his arm knife, clattering into a puddle. Anna broke free, stumbled sideways. The wiry one lunged. I caught him in the knee with my boot. The pop of cartilage was drowned by thunder. He dropped like a stone. The driver slammed the gear into reverse tires, screaming. I pivoted, aimed low again. One shot, rear tire exploded. The SUV fishtailed, slammed sideways across the driveway, steam hissing. The whole street went still. Rain poured, neighbors' curtains fluttered, but nobody stepped out. Just me, Anna, trembling behind the railing, and 2 wannabe enforcers realizing they'd just picked the wrong house. "Hands where I can see them," I ordered. For the first time that night they listened. Sirens wailed in the distance, faint at first, then closer. I kept my stance gun low but steady, watching the blood mix with rain on the porch. Anna moved beside me, tearing a strip from her shirt to wrap the scrape on my arm. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. "Hold still, you're dripping on the porch." Even then, she had that calm nurse tone. Red and blue lights finally flashed through the rain, painting the puddles like stained glass. I didn't lower the gun until I heard a familiar voice shouting over the storm. "Jack." "Put it down. I've got it from here." Detective Mark Carter, my old teammate, now county detective. He moved in with his officers, quick and sure. One glance at the bald guy, and his face hardened. "Vince Rowe. You've been on our radar for months, impersonating officials' property scams, intimidation." Carter's men cuffed them, dragged out the third one from the SUV. Inside the trunk, they found zip ties forged, HOA notices, even a tranquilizer gun. None of them were here for citations. They were here to take people. As they loaded the suspects into cruisers, Carter looked at me. "You got here just in time, brother." 30 seconds, I said quietly. That's all it took. For a moment, we just stood there, rain easing to a drizzle. Anna was silent beside me, staring at the muddy step where her bracelet had fallen. Later, under the harsh courthouse lights that night, replayed again and again. The prosecutor called me a trained soldier, acting on instinct. Their lawyer called me a trigger-happy veteran, reliving combat. I sat there, jaw tight, wondering if maybe he was right. Maybe I had overreacted. Then Anna took the stand. Calm, firm, steady voice. "They weren't there to talk," she said. "They had fake papers, no badges, and a trunk full of restraints. One pulled me by the hair. One searched for my keys. I remember the smell of boat engine oil. I remember thinking I might not see my husband again." The courtroom went dead silent. Then Harris, my attorney, played the neighbor's security footage, 39 seconds of grainy video. You could see me step out, issue a warning, shoot low, protector. The story told itself. When the verdict came, no charges. Lawful defense of another, I didn't smile. I just breathed. Because I kept thinking about that phrase Vince said, "You're a little late, hero." I hear it every time I close my eyes. But I wasn't too late, not this time. And maybe that's the real truth about people like me. We don't want fights. We just refuse to arrive 30 seconds too late ever again.